Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to join us at Huawei. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter webinar than what we normally do. We're very focused around this education bundle, so we're not going to take the full hour. We expect it'll probably be more like about 30 minutes. But what we're going to do today is give you a bit of an overview of Huawei's position in the education space, some case studies where you can really learn a little bit about how we've deployed infrastructure in the various different kinds of educational environments, and then we'll talk just briefly about some of the technology, and then we'll definitely give you a good overview of what the education bundle is all about and how to take advantage of it. As we're going through this presentation, if you have questions, please keep those questions rolling in on the Q&A panel. There's a question area within the GoToWebinar interface. Please type in your questions there and we'll answer those at the end. As we always like to do, we will have some polling questions for you, so we'll intersperse those throughout the presentation. And this webinar is also being recorded and will be available on the Huawei Enterprise USA website shortly after the conclusion of the presentation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our speaker. Our speaker today is Michael Jay. He's a Director of Business Development at Huawei and somebody who's very passionate about Huawei's participation in the education space. So Michael, take it away.
Thank you, Nick. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure to talk to you about the educational market, and we refer to the educational market for K through 12 colleges and universities. It's an exciting area, particularly in the last couple of years, and as we move forward with this, is our educators are looking at more and more end-to-end solutions with so many students and teachers using mobile devices on how to provide various apps and continuous wireless communications to them. So it's fun conversations. It's kind of dynamic as we're moving forward, particularly with the new applications coming about. One common theme that we hear is the total cost of ownership of the network, as well as helping out with end devices, the handheld devices or the pads. I refer to them all the time as handhelds. So with that, we're going to share a little bit of our experiences, share a little bit of what Huawei is, and then let you know what we're doing in the marketplace, what Nick referred to as our bundles. First off, just a little bit about Huawei. Huawei in 2013 was almost a $40 billion a year company as far as revenue base. It looks like it's on track to exceed that this year. Multinational company, does business in quite a few countries. We're up around 140 plus countries now. We have various products. Our U.S. Headquarters is in USA as far as Huawei Corp. Our enterprise headquarters is in Cupertino, California. Our R&D facility is in Santa Clara. Round number-wise, we're about 1,700 employees in the U.S. The enterprise business is started about 3 years ago, so we're growing from our aspect here. Does quite a bit of business with a lot of U.S. companies. About $6 billion of U.S. product is procured when producing Huawei product. So pretty substantial company and continue to grow. One of the things it does, it continues to invest in new product, as you would imagine, as a networking and telecom manufacturer. A lot of R&D spending. We're going to go through some more about Huawei when we get there, but just before we go into the polling, Huawei is in the business of, in the networking business, so the routing business, the switching business. It's in the server business, server portfolio. It's in the storage business. It's in the wireless business for LTE to enterprise LTE to various microwave. The transmission business for optical gear, local gear for telcos, WANs, LANs for our enterprise, as well as consumer electronics, pads and personal phones, your smartphone. So quite a few different product lines, and it gives us a great deal of ability to serve this educational market from an end-to-end basis and be able to control a lot of the total cost of ownership. So Nick, if you don't mind, it's time for polling question number 1.
Polling question number 1. I love it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and launch this. I know many of you on the webinar here are VARs or resellers, so if that's the case, give us a feeling for the different size, kind of the average size of the educational institutions that you go after. So this is a one-choice only offering, and the question is, how many students are in your campus environment? Is it small little campus, less than 2,000? Is it between 2 and 5,000, 5 and 10, between 10 and 25, or over 25? And again, if you're a VAR, just kind of pick your typical customer, whatever your average customer size that you'd be focusing on in the SMB space. We'll give you guys a few seconds to vote here. While you're voting, don't forget, if you have questions, to type those in the Q&A panel. We've already received our first question, which is great, so keep those coming. We want to try to test Michael as much as we can with all those kinds of questions. So go ahead and place your vote, and I'll show you the results here momentarily. All right, so let's go ahead and close it out, and I'll share the results. And what you can see is there's a pretty good mix. It seems like the largest percentage, almost half of you, are between 5 and 10,000 schools, or 5 and 10,000 in terms of number of students within the school district that you're going after. Some larger, a few smaller, but that gives us a good feel for the kind of customers you're going after. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Go ahead forward there, Michael. Michael, I don't know if you muted yourself, but just to make sure we can hear you, go ahead and make sure you've unmuted yourself.
There we go. Enjoying a little bit of operator error. Thanks, Nick. We were involved as far as a company sponsoring certain activities and organizations, and Curriki is one of them. Big math programs, we very much enjoy being involved with that, and if it helps our teachers and administrators get the messaging and the learning to our kids, terrific. So we enjoy doing that. It's just one of the activities that we're involved with. A little bit on our case studies, and there's a lot of words here, but I'll highlight them quickly. Here's a K through 12 school district in Texas, big on WLAN. So a lot of activity with them, getting to the individual users, a lot of access points distributed there. So this is one of the schools districts that we worked with quite a bit to come up with a solution for them. Another solution, and this is looking at getting into the core and the access switches. This is up in California now, in San Francisco, University of San Francisco, putting in a solution on the core and the access switches. Another example of our school system applications is, and this one it's really fun. This is ELTE, Northern Michigan University. As probably most of you know, our school systems, K through 12, as well as colleges and universities, have licenses in this frequency, somewhere between 2.6 and 3.5 gigahertz. And with ELTE, a wireless platform, you can have a campus-wide infrastructure that can serve many applications, as well as students, teachers, and administrators on a wireless basis. So a lot of fun here as we go forward, because as we all know, every student walking onto a campus doesn't have a wire hooked to them. Everything's about wireless activity. Same thing with our professors. And these applications range from their individual apps to the school apps to, of course, communicating via video, the classroom, and other events. So just a couple examples of some of the activities we've had with our school systems. Nick, we're running quick, so here's polling question number 2.
I love it. This is great. Okay, so the second polling question is going to be, if you had to pick one thing in your infrastructure that was your most pressing area that you needed to improve, what would it be? And again, if you're a VAR, just talk about your typical educational customer and kind of what you think their most pressing need is. Is it upgrading the core? A lot of these guys have older core networks, so moving that to 40 gigabytes. Is it WLAN? Either you need an initial WLAN deployment or you need that upgraded. Is it backup and disaster recovery, your main issue? Is it that you're trying to move to VDI and you want virtualized desktops, or is it something different? So go ahead and just take a few minutes to vote. We love to track these things, and we'll share the results with you just in a couple of minutes. One comment I was going to make to talk a bit about what Michael was talking about with Curriki. Hopefully you guys are familiar with that site. If you're not, it's just an unbelievable repository of curriculum for math and physics and chemistry, and you can go on these sites and you're your kids, if you have students at home, can go on these sites and watch videos and learn all kinds of great things on subjects for free. And so I think the real point there is that Huawei is a friend of education. We're not just selling products to schools, we're also sponsoring various sites and various kinds of companies that are helping provide education to students, and that's really important. So let's go ahead and close it out, and we'll take a look at the results here. So what we're seeing is that the most pressing need that you guys are seeing out there is the WLAN. More than half, almost 2/3 of the entire audience thinks that if they had to do one thing, it would be WLAN. Some people on the core network, some on the VDI side, and then there's other, which would be interesting to know what those were. So let us know what you're talking about on the other side, but that's very useful. Good stuff. Michael, back over to you to carry on.
Thank you, Nick. Great to know that WLAN is top of mind. First slide as far as our application. I know it's a little bit busy. The messaging here is that we have quite a bit of WLAN. So from all that access side of the house, from your routers, your switches, your access points, quite a bit. Unified communications pieces in here. So we do have the complete end-to-end solution of the WLAN here. The messaging top of mind all the time is lower total cost of ownership. So we come in with solutions not only with the equipment and necessary software behind it, but also how to maintain it and how to service it. So professional services could be as from the point of maintaining the equipment with smart hands capability, right through the professional services of configuration and networking engineering. Now obviously we work with an awful lot of our channel partners and our VARs, and they can do quite a bit of that with us or without us. So sometimes a VAR, if they don't have the experience on the core side, we can provide that for them. Of course, they probably have it on the WLAN side, and they sell their professional services to the end customer that way. So we very much want to partner to this and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to serve the education customer as well as possible. So on to another area that we've talked about just briefly at one of the success stories. We have quite a switching platform from the core, the aggregation, and the access part. Various flavors, from 1 gig up to 100 gig if the requirements are there in the aggregation point. So a lot of different sizes, which is very nice for us. We have very small devices, we have very large devices, so that from a price per port, we can fit very well. Also, it allows for growth for a customer. So if they have port requirements in the near future, of course we design that way, and it can be fulfilled with various type switching platforms. Another area of our technology is getting back on the LAN side, is on the access point. We have indoor, we have outdoor access points for the great requirements of Wi-Fi. Of course, we have the controllers that can be campus-based, or it could be data center-based, or it could be cloud-based. So it gives the customer quite an advantage in how they want to operate their access points. So indoor, outdoor, and the models continue to come out. So we're expecting a new release of some models in the January to February timeframe with additional outdoor model. On the ELTE side of the house, I know this is not on the WLAN side, but it certainly can help with getting to a lot of the access points. Quite a bit of interest in this in our customer base. Where we've just come to a closure with another customer that we can't announce yet, but we hope to have press releases with them. But a campus-wide with another university. So quite fun with this. So this is something that we would like to talk about too. On the storage front, we have a lot of different storage portfolio. Of course, customers, the EDU customers and administrators want certain types of storage. And some of the storage they will want on-premises. So we can be on-prem as well as we can be off-prem if they like to take some off-prem. So we have quite a bit of storage capability. On the server side, I only put up a couple on a slide here. We've got quite a bit of server capability. These are two models that seem to be fitting the education market very well, and we've included these in our bundle. So as I mentioned earlier, that we have the compute, we have the servers, we have the storage, and we have the networking capability from switching, router, and of course wireless. And our WLAN side of the house, we can go beyond all the access points. We have full unified communications as well as telepresence and video conferencing. So Nick, we went quick again. Here we are pulling question number 3.
You're doing great, Michael. Excellent job. Okay. The final polling question is trying to find out about the time frame. So again, if you are a VAR, just let us know when you think your customers are looking to do a refresh. If you're an educational institution, what's your time frame? And we're talking about any kind of a refresh of your WLAN, your core network, any of the technologies that Michael's been talking about, or an expansion. So if you know you're about to grow your infrastructure, let us know what you think your time frame is there. So is it within the next 3 months, the next 6 months, within the year, 2 years, or more than 2 years out? Go ahead and vote. I do want to make it really clear, Michael touched on this, the solutions that we're showing up to this point are all solutions that actually were included in the case studies or in the education bundle that we're about to show you here on the next couple of slides. So by no means is this a broad stroke of the entire Huawei portfolio. It's just the specific technology that is used in the bundle example that we're about to show you, and we're trying to highlight real deployments that we've done in various educational institutions around the country. So go ahead and vote here, and we'll show you the results here in just a couple seconds. All right, let's go ahead and show you the results. And as you can see, the 2/3 of you are upgrading sometime within the next year, kind of an even balance for people that are doing it more sooner than that. And then about 20% of you are within the next 2 years. So that's very good information for us, and also for the VARs that are on the call as well. So with that, I'm going to let Michael talk to you about the actual education bundles now. Michael, take it away.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, thank you again, Nick. Sorry for the slowness, operator issues on this side. We've put together this bundled on several size schools. This particular one that we're going to review.
Michael, we are seeing still the polling question placeholder, so if you advanced beyond that, it's not advancing on our screen yet. So make sure, there you go, there it just did. You're good to go now. Thank you.
Thank you. We put together several bundle sizes, and today we're just going to review one of those. How we came up with this is mentioned earlier when talking to customers. They're suggesting some of their needs, and it seems like when we talk to them more and more, they start to enjoy more of an end-to-end solution. And I know those are words that we've used in the industry quite a bit. But with this one, they're talking about not only end-to-end within the network, but they're talking end-to-end into the into the student's hands or the teacher's hands. And they continue to talk to us. They want to have options, not always owning all this equipment, but having some lease alternatives. In addition, they're suggesting ways on how to maintain these devices in a more cost-effective manner. So we did this work and came up with an example of a bundle for a school system that has an administrative office as well as 15 campuses. So when doing this, Nick, I'm not forwarding again. Here we go. We're going to try it again. If you wouldn't mind, Nick, if you could drive that to the next slide, that would be terrific.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to try to take control from you and then give it back and see if that fixes it. If that doesn't, then I'll take it over completely. So hold on just one second.
Okay.
Hold on just one second. I'm going to come back to you here. Okay, so I just gave you control again. See if you can share your screen, and it should come up.
Do you see it now?
Yep, absolutely. Looks good.
Okay. So this is an example of the bundle that I referred to before. We have switching platforms, we have the storage capability, we have servers, we have the access points with the Wi-Fi controller. We also put the support services in. This bundle, we price it at for this number of devices. You can see the X times the devices is the number of devices that we put in the bundle. This represents $1 million worth of product for the school system. This is for one administrative office as well as 15 different schools. So this is a bundle with quite a bit of information on there, quite a bit of different devices. And we include in this bundle the 5-year support. Now, on top of that, what we put in this bundle, as we mentioned, is that how do we solve the problem of getting the devices in students' hands and teachers' hands? And this is primarily geared towards the students' hands. So included in this bundle, we have included 1,000 Chromebooks. So for the educators, we solved the problems of having the networking gear, the switching platforms, the access points, the storage, the compute, and now we're solving the problem of getting the devices in students' hands. So this includes 1,000 Chromebooks as part of this bundle. When we did also in putting this together is that we benchmarked this to our most significant competitor, and using channel partner pricing, benchmarking to them versus us, we think we have a very compelling offer here. The vendor X in the middle of the screen shows the number of devices you would get for $1 million, including the support. So they stop at the end of the access switch. So with our bundle, you would get the storage, you get servers, you get the Wi-Fi controllers, you get the access point, and you get the Chromebook, and you also get a 5-year support. So there's quite a bit more on the right-hand column as far as benchmarking to our primary competitor. So messaging out to the education customers, quite an offering if they're looking for a solution to manage their total cost of ownership. And I would imagine there's quite a few of them that would want to engage with this conversation. Now, the last thing we wanted to make sure that the educators had an option with is that not everybody has $1 million in their capital budget. Some may have leasing alternatives. So leasing options, for example, on this slide, you can see that if an educator was at a 36-month leasing program, it ends up being about $4 per student. This is based on 7,500 students or teachers, we call them users in this district. And if it was out to a 5-year program, 60 months would be about $2.60 a month. So using a leasing program, perhaps it would mean a financial alternative for the CFO and the CIO to come together to come up with a solution that, of course, in this type of volume, that the superintendent would be involved in making a decision. And Nick, that was my last slide as far as reviewing the bundle. Did I happen to miss anything that you wanted to cover?
No, I think you did a great job. I mean, the thing I want to highlight is that the bundle example that we're showing here was an actual comparison in one of our Texas customers where they had a quote on the table just to upgrade their core infrastructure, and it was about $1 million deal. And Huawei came in and not only was able to upgrade that core infrastructure, but as Michael pointed out, they were also able to provide enough storage to back up all of their data. They were able to add 6 physical servers, which resulted in a couple of dozen virtual servers to run lots of different applications, and they were able to upgrade their entire WLAN infrastructure at the same time. So it just really allowed this particular school district to stretch their IT dollar much further, and that's really what this is all about. And I think the Chromebook promotion, as Michael pointed out, is really to get devices in the hands of students who need them. So we know that 1,000 Chromebooks would not cover every single student in a district of this size, but it probably helps some of the classrooms get Chromebooks in there. It may help some of the more underprivileged students who don't have access to a device, and really we're just trying to level the playing field and allow these school districts to get their job done that they want. Michael, we do have quite a few questions here, so if you want to go to the next slide, we can show people the contact info and basically go to the Q&A area. So appreciate everybody's questions. So one of those is, and this is probably from one of our VARs that's joined onto the call, is how do I become a Huawei partner, and how do I become part of this opportunity? And there, if you look at the URL that's on the screen there, HuaweiEnterpriseUSA.com. If you're not already a Huawei partner, you can go on there. Top-level navigation has a choice for partners. If you're not a partner, you can apply to become one. It's a very quick process, and you just fill out some information and hit submit, and then that will get approved, and you'll be able to gain access to the partner portal. And the partner portal is an area that's specific to our partners. It is an area that you have to have login in order to be able to reach, but there we have all kinds of information about our price books, online certification and training for our partners. It's where you can register deals, so it's quite a developed portal that you can use as a VAR to be able to gain special information that is pertinent to our reseller community. So that's a great question. Another question came in about the different kinds of school districts, the different sizes of school district, and said, is there something beyond just $1 million bundle? And Michael touched on this earlier, but in fact we have 3 specific bundles, one that's $250,000, one that's $500,000, and the one that we showed in this webinar is the $1 million bundle. These are just guidelines to try to give you a feel for what's typical in that size of budget and the amount of infrastructure that we can provide. So if you have specific opportunities that you want to talk about, contact your Huawei sales rep. Many of you already know who your channel account manager is or who your Huawei sales rep is. If you don't know or you don't have one, call this number 855-464-8293, and we'll be able to put you in touch with either a channel manager or an end user sales guy that's in your area, and they'll be able to look at your specific opportunity in your school district or your university or college and be able to help you figure out what the bundle is that's appropriate for that environment. And we'll be able to give you Chromebooks that are appropriate with the size of that infrastructure. So that's a great question. Michael, this one's for you. As another question came in, I want to know about how do I see a demo of some of the solutions that you covered in this? What are some of the options for people who want to get a demo of our equipment?
Oh, great. We have demo capability in Cupertino, California, and we also have a larger demo facility in Plano, Texas. We call it an executive briefing center. In individual type demos for single point of products, we can do that remotely often, but for a complete solution, either Cupertino, California, or Plano, Texas.
Excellent. And also, Huawei goes to lots of different events around the country. Coming up next month here in just a few weeks, we're going to be in Gartner Symposium in Orlando, Florida. We're actually at EDUCAUSE, which is an education-focused an education-focused trade show that's going on right now as we speak. So we're all over the place. So in addition to the actual demo centers that Michael talked about, you can often see us at trade shows, and we can even do virtual demos for anybody that prefers that as well. So you don't have to come and see us. We can kind of do this over the web as well. Let's see, a couple more questions here. Does Huawei offer technical certification courses for the products? And a couple answers to that. First of all, if you want sales certification, so if you are one of our resellers and you want to become certified to sell the products, or if you have SEs that want to be able to do technical selling and be able to architect the products, that training is available within our partner portal. It's online. You can take it anytime. We can actually get the certification process done online, and you can have your certificates printed in real time. So that's what you can do if you're a reseller. If you want to be able to install the Huawei products and actually do the professional services of taking them out of the box, configuring all the cables, set them up, configure them, and put them into production, those are more involved courses that we do offer both at the Huawei locations, and we also do these remotely as well. So our professional services team has a whole suite of different courses for different kinds of products, ranging from networking to server to storage. and everything in between. So if you're interested more in that side of the house, give us a call, contact us, we'll help you set up one of those courses. But if you're a VAR that just wants sales or pre-sales technical training, you can do that online anytime. It's available 24/7. Let's see, I think we might have one more question coming in here. What type of joint marketing activity does Huawei offer with its partners? Michael, you want to talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that partners can leverage with Huawei in terms of joint marketing?
Sure. This is quite enjoyable when we work these together because we can do from simple shows together. I say simple, these could be small regional shows. They could be larger district-type shows. What I mean by that is trade shows or conferences. We can engage at speaking events together. We can do collateral together. We can do webinars together. And certainly we can do, if we're down to a school district, we can also help sponsor particular school district activities. What we'd like to do is work out a program that makes sense for your business. If this is one of our channel partners or VARs, you know, how can we help support your business in pursuing this educational market? So that's the general way we like to talk about it, and we use marketing dollars then to support that together.
Excellent. Well, I think that was the last question. I definitely want to thank Michael very much for his time and being able to give us some insights into what's going on in the education space. And just to reiterate, the education vertical is a very hot vertical. It's a very successful vertical for Huawei. We have many great case studies. We've shown you a few of them here in this webinar. So if you are going to be looking at working with educational partners, let us know. We'd love to go in there with you, and we think we can offer a tremendous amount of compelling infrastructure at great prices that are going to allow these guys to stretch their dollar further. And in Q4 here we have this Chromebook promotion going on, which is just another great opportunity to take advantage of something that Huawei's doing to invest in education. So Michael, any final comments from you?
I just want to say thank you very much for attending the webinar. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon on another Huawei webinar. Take care.